Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Tessa-Marie Show. Tonight, we are talking about your relationships and the pillar of physical prosperity. So for this, I brought in a special guest, and here he comes. So he is coming to talk to us about this amazing thing. So I'm going to send him a little request for him to come tonight. So I sent it to here. You are.
Hi,
Hello.
Tessa.
How are you?
Very
Oh,
good. How are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. It is so exciting to have you here this evening.
It's
I,
always a pleasure talking to you.
I trapped you. I said, "Oh my God, the pillar of physical prosperity. I need an expert and and relationships." So that's why Teron is here tonight. So get on your pad and paper, your pen, and get cracking because Teron is here tonight to tell us all about our pillar of physical prosperity and how it affects our relationship. So those of you who do not know Teron is a coach extraordinaire. That
Oh my
means
God.
he is one of the best I know about. And trust me, if I say it's the best, it's the best. I have it on references. And when a coach gets references from far and wide, you can imagine what that's like. So here he is. Tonight, he's not only going to touch, you figure a physical coach is just going to tell you you need to run, you need to jump, you need to skip, you need to dance. And all I hear from others is that, oh, he's so focused. He'll have you doing what you're supposed to do. So there are unique things about Tehran that you will not find in other coaches. He's dedicated. He did not let, for example, COVID stop him. He did not sit down on his hunches and say to himself, well, it's COVID. What's the point? I've lost all my clients. I'm going to sit down. No, he reinvented himself. He did a 180. He pivoted. And what he started doing, he started to coach people all over the world in different time zones. And I admired, I'm thinking, how does he know? How does he know who he should be talking to, or his coaching? And his calendar must look like a zigzag. I haven't seen it. But 1 minute he's PST, 1 minute EST, 1 minute mountain time, 1 minute this. And sometimes he's coaching 10 hours behind us, 10 hours ahead of us. So this is unique, guys. That's unique. So tonight, if you are here, come here to get some information that you can keep and you can share with others. So without further ado, I bring to you Tehran, our coach extraordinaire, our
That is
physical coach.
such a heartwarming introduction. I just wanted you to just keep talking. I did not even want to interrupt. Just keep talking.
No, but
Music to my ears.
when people hear that you are a physical, exercise, making people do their physical exercises, talking to people about exercising and how they should behave and all of that, most times people just think that's all you do. But I found out from good sources that and when I say good sources, that are people that have been going through your training
Hmm.
and they talk about how you do this. And it's unique. You are more concerned about the entire human being. So tell me about this because it's relationship and physical activity, your physical pillar of prosperity.
As you correctly said, Tessa, it is about the person. It really is about the person. And talking about relationship also, I also have the same relationship with the client, right? So it's not just, and I've been saying this for a long time, it's not just a 4 o'clock or a 7 a.m. It's a person. They're bringing a story to the table. They're coming with a lot of information. Physical part is just one part of it, and then there is the mental attributes to it, that I want to lose weight, gain muscle for so and so reasons. And I'm always invested in those reasons and those stories because that is what's gonna, hold the person accountable for a long, long term. 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years, and people have been with me for years. So those hows and the whys are really important to me. For those reasons, I need to ask those questions. Why do you want to do this? And, what have you experienced in the past? One of those questions is sometimes, how's your dating life? And are
Wow.
you married? Are you single? Are you, looking,
Oh,
to have somebody in your life? So how's that coming along? And how is that affecting, you know, your physical health? And those are the, deep conversations that I've had with some clients. And I cannot tell you what how much of an impact that makes, when they're in their journey. And then, they become a completely different person, to a point where, people have been very hesitant about starting a workout. And then they had these, limiting beliefs about themselves. Oh, I haven't, done it. Will I be able to, sustain this? Or, oh, I just want to work with a female trainer. To a point, the same person has gone and said 6 months down the line that, what, I want a person for myself. Like, in future, if I am dating, would want a person who's equally invested in their own health, just the way I am now.
wow.
And it's such it's such an amazing thing to hear when your client says that you've been with them on that journey. When you were first consulting them, you were asking all those questions. Sometimes it's not even a comfortable discussion, but you have to have that level of comfort to be able to tell me, this is what I'm trying to do, because I want to go out, be able to have this confidence to go in a bar and approach a girl and just have a conversation. There's nothing wrong with that, but it affects people.
So tell me, one of the things that fascinated me, you just said that.
Hmm.
I never thought as a coach, a trainer, that a physical trainer for, exercise and nutrition, that you go that deep, so deep that you will come to that person and talk about their relationship. So that is a big thing. How many, when you first approach a client and you bring that discussion, and perhaps they've been with another client before, another
Hmm.
trainer before, how do they feel when you approach them, especially if they never had that interaction with the previous trainer? What do they say?
They're uncomfortable for first part. I mean, of course, and I always lead by giving some information about myself. So I always talk about my journey, how I became a trainer. I had different jobs, and how I was sedentary and I had gained a lot of weight and all those things. So you know f- to have that honest discussion with the client kind of puts them in their seat, that okay, you know what, he's also a human. He's not somebody who's supernatural, who has big biceps and a big chest, and now he's just going to torture me. So that is not the case. So once you have that initial discussion, that hey, you know what, I've been there, I've been in the trenches. And that's when you get people to talk. And then those questions. So how's your dating life, how's your married life, are you doing things with your partner that you wanted to do? And once you get that ball rolling, that's when you identify the how. Maybe somebody's goal is to be physically better because they want to have a better relationship. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, but I need to know as a coach.
So when you are given that type of information, how do you keep such a person on course? That person that wants, I want this change in my life so I
Hmm.
can date, so I can go out, I can feel comfortable in clothes, that my clothes is not clinging to me, or the buttons are not saying, let me out, let me out.
Hmm.
How do you do that? What do you say to them?
So I always tell them that we'll be following certain, matrices that we'll be going through. Let's say weight is one of the matrices. Then we'll go through measurements and, how your clothes, fit you. All of those matrices, we keep into account, and there is a file and there's a record. And I go through those check-ins month on month, week on week, or whatever that I've decided. And again, I'm having that discussion very regularly. Okay, so this is the program that we decided, and we do it for 6 weeks. At the end of the day, at the end of those 6 weeks, we can look at gaining this much muscle, losing that much fat, or maybe a couple of inches from the body. And then always It's amazing that they always come back and tell me that, oh, you know what, my clothes started to feel in a different way. I'm gonna go and buy myself, let's say, from a medium to a small, and I'm so excited about it. And I'm like, really excited about that because that's a part of their journey. It's not just always about seeing X weight to Y weight. It's about enjoying that process. And like I said, the clothes and the compliments, and my ring, I'm able to wear a ring now. I could not wear this ring, and all those small things, they make a lot of difference.
So, what happens with the man or woman whose partner is physically fit and they come to you in tears?
Hmm.
They're losing their possibility of losing that relationship that that they really like. What do you do? How do you coach that person to with the tears coming down while they're talking to you, and sometimes scared because where they're talking to you from, the partner might walk into that room anytime. How do you do this?
So one of the questions that I ask is about their partner. Are they supportive? What do they do? Even if they're not physically in the same room, I'm asking them, is your partner active? Do you guys enjoy hiking together? Do you guys go, enjoy, let's say boating together, whatever activity that they, enjoy doing. And then, excuse me, and that's when they start, telling me, oh, you know what, my partner likes to go on hiking, but I am, not able to get out of the house because I'm so concerned I won't be able to, finish the hike or embarrass myself, or so on and so forth. So I set their goals and I set their training basis that. So let's say I am asking them, okay, when is your next hike coming up? 6 months down the line. Okay, we'll start training like that. Is your partner supportive? What does he or she say about you starting on this program? Is he going to be supportive, or are they going to restrict you from coming to the gym? So I already know what are the possible roadblocks that I can face with that client. But that would never happen if I just never had that discussion and I'd be like, oh, you know what, let's just show up at 6 a.m. and let's start training without knowing what do they really want. Does that make sense?
Yes, so you check into the relationship when somebody first comes to you for training. You bring the relationship, especially man or woman. You say to them, okay, so you are in a relationship or you want a relationship. So you find out where they are. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a relationship where they need to have the support of the partner. What about if there is no relationship yet? And their goal is to put themselves in a physical shape to get a relationship. How do you coach them to let them know, well, that is important, but what will you do if you're not able to get that relationship? Do you go that far?
I do. And like I said, I do have single clients who are, wanting to go out and date. And in the last, 17, 18 months, it hasn't been easy for single people, I'll tell you that. But again, just the constant checking. So they are telling me about, okay, you know what, I met this girl online. I'm, going to go on a date. I want to look a little, ripped. And again, aesthetics is just one part of their goal. And I'm, telling them, okay, this is what we're going to do. So if they come back and say, oh, you know what, want to have that cheat meal, and I'm telling them, okay, you know what, you're preparing for that. Your date is in 3 weeks. So let's start to, work on this plan really hard so that, once you go, you have that full confidence going into that date and just being the best person that you are. I mean, what happens on the date is their business. It's not mine. But at least as a coach, I am preparing that client to be 100% confident going to that date.
So you ask them to consider that cheat day
Hmm.
because in 3 weeks that cheat day can make a difference to
It
what
can.
you want. So
It
you
can.
you bring them back and say, come on, you have a goal over here. It's nice to have a cheat day, but you have 3 weeks to go.
Hmm.
So you give them that option.
So that timeline is always there, and they know that they are doing that for a purpose. It's always finding that purpose. Why are we doing this? Of course, we're trying to build muscle, lose fat, but there is a 3 week target that's coming up because they want to show up for that date and looking their best. So that will get them to come to the gym at 6 a.m., right? Because
Okay.
it's very important to that person.
Okay. So when you come across now, because I know you train various types and ages and all of that,
Mhm.
how do you work with somebody who is maybe being bullied because of their weight? or they are being left behind in a promotion because of their weight? How do you manage that? And they're aware of that and they come to you with that. How do
Mhm.
you, what is the psyche that you play with in that particular case?
The first thing that I'm, telling my clients that there is no one particular weight or size. People come in different uh, shapes and sizes, whatever that you feel most comfortable with. So again, I'm not never telling them, oh, if you weigh, X, then you should weigh Y. I always ask them, where do you feel you're most comfortable? And some, people have that desired body type. Like, some women want to be curvy and they tell me right up that, I don't want to be too skinny because I want to maintain those curves. And I'm like, yes, very nice. So, there's nothing wrong with that. So it's not always about being thin. That's the first part. So I tell them that uh, you know, every weight is good, every size is good, whatever that you're most comfortable with. What is that one parameter that you will be comfortable stepping out of the house and, just being very comfortable in your skin? So those are the things that I ask initially, and then we're working on that.
So when you find in your initial conversation,
Hmm.
you have that before you even take them on as a client.
Yes. So that one first interview almost takes an hour, hour and a half, sometimes even 2 hours, because I'm writing notes, I'm writing everything about them. They are talking and I'm writing notes, and I'm, when I'm doing that programming and I'm, tying everything to them. Even when we are training, I'm telling them the same thing. Remember on first day when we met, you told me this, this, this. I want to look like this. Even if they're aspiring to look like a particular actor or an actress or some influencer, so I'm tying those goals back to that first conversation, and they're like, "Yeah, he remembers." So I'm like,
Oh,
"Yeah, that is your goal, and that is our goal now."
yeah. So because I like that was your goal, but no, it's our goal. We're
It
working
is.
together as a team. So
Mhm.
tell me, what happened to that person who has come with a goal in mind to get a partner or to be like the partner, to stay with that existing partner? What happens when they get to that point and they realize, no, physically, I am not going to stay with that person. No, I have the body that I want. That relationship, what happens? Do they have that conversation with you? Have you had that happen?
I did actually, and like I said, with a very specific example with this client that here she was, in a completely different mental space. Oh, I'm never gonna probably find somebody, or my life is so and so. And 6 months down the line, she knew exactly the kind of partner that she was looking for. Like, I think you know what I'm saying, right? That here is a person who has completely lost faith in their dating life, and now 6 months down the line, they know exactly the kind of person they're looking for, and they're going on dates, and they're looking for those things, that this is what I want in my relationship.
And then they change. So their relationship changes because
Hmm.
their weight has changed. How does their confidence and attitude feel at that time when you see them? What like, for example, 8 weeks into training, there's always a change because I
Hmm.
figure between six and
Hmm.
8 weeks, it's changing. When they come for their training, and you notice, they notice the physical changes taking place. What is the difference then with their posture, their attitude, now that they have that confidence and they
It's
know
just
they can?
the. Uh-huh.
They know they can get into the relationship, and it's keeping their relationship in place. What do they share with you?
It's just that whole outlook towards other people. So most of us have these own limiting beliefs. Oh, who's going to talk to me because I look a certain way? Who's going to, want to give me my number if my belly's, hanging or something like that? And I've been a victim of that. So I've had that, so many, limiting beliefs about myself. Or who's going to talk to me because I look like a potato or something like that. It's all those lies that we are telling ourselves. And 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks into the training, just the way the person walks through that door, and that they know that there is something good about myself. I'm here for a purpose, and I've been doing something for the last 8 weeks. I feel good. It's just the way they approach the other person. it just says it all. That energy, the vibe that they give out, that's all that person needs.
So you recognize the different vibes that they have, the energy that comes out because they have now conquered. So towards their relationship, it has changed. So
Hmm.
the relationship with physical prosperity at optimum, great, right at the top, and relationships. What about this wallflower person who is in a group of females and she is the and she or the guy and he's hanging out with his friend and he's constantly having to pull up his pants because it's there. And when he makes that transition, what happens? What do you get back when they show up and their friends have recognized them? What happens? How do they react in your relationship? Have they ever had that discussion with you?
Some people are, like I said, shy. Some people don't want to have that discussion early on, and they're just, sometimes, some clients give me nothing. Like, I don't know what the person is bringing to the table. But some discussions have happened in training that they're saying, you know what, then I'm pushing them, and they're like, you know what, if I actually do one more set, maybe I'll be able to ask that girl out that I've been, thinking of asking out for so many weeks. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, tell me more about it. And that's when I know that I'll find that connect. So I'll, when I'm pushing, then I'm telling them, okay, you know what, one more set, two more reps, all those things. And I'll be like, you know what, this is going to get you to where you want to be. and
So
and and I see that spark going there, and they're like, yeah, yeah, that is what I'll do this for that. So it's about finding that purpose.
so their body image affects the relationship,
It
and when
does.
that image in there, the image they want, it's not that it's okay
Hmm.
that their body image should affect the relationship, but it does. So
Hmm.
but they have decided, I'm going to change it. And when they change it, you can see their attitude towards people, how they react with others. Like you say, when they walk into the gym, you can see a
Hmm.
different attitude,
It,
and then they will tell
yeah.
you. So
It's the attitude that comes in, when they see themselves doing the work. Oh, I was never be, able to do a push-up, and now I'm able to do a full set of 10 push-ups. I wasn't able to, climb those stairs. Now I can go up and down running. So when they see those changes happening with themselves, their confidence, the way they process their, whole being in their own head just changes. And imagine this person now giving the same energy when they're talking to, a person like their meet cute. So can you imagine, what the other person would be thinking? Oh, this guy's so confident, the way he talks, the way he's, saying things. So why wouldn't there be a good match? It's just all about finding a good match, because, they've let go of their own limiting beliefs now, that nobody's going to talk to me because, I look a certain way. They're like, okay, the way I am, I love myself, and I'm just going to go out and just, see what's what.
so those that have achieved that step where they took their physical prosperity was low, whether for some it could be, different times, different phase,
Hmm.
and you have helped them, and now they are out but still training with you. When they come back after that first dinner, for example, like that, you said, I am going out for this, and they tell you the reaction of friends and family, what do you see in them that wasn't there before? What it is that you see?
That confidence that they were at least able to go out on that first date, or even ask that person out for a date, where they, could have like sworn to themselves, oh, that is never going to happen to me, because I'll never be able to, approach this person and even ask for a date. And here they are, went on that, first date. It doesn't matter if the date went well, didn't go well. That's just beyond that discussion. But that person was able to at least go and, put themselves out there. That's a huge step. It's a huge step.
I
And if
can
they can go
understand
down
that.
on that first date, they can go on so many dates, because now they have identified a new person within themselves, that I can go
So
and do this.
so there are going to be people watching us or listening to this after that's going to ask, tell us, what about you've done that one who's done all that work, and
Hmm.
they went from where they weren't comfortable, they didn't like what they saw in the mirror, they
Hmm.
came to you, you've been working with them for a year, and they're fabulous, and all of a sudden that person that they were with has just announced to them, I preferred you when you were not in shape, and they come crying to you. What are you doing now?
No, I haven't had that discussion yet. And I hope that I don't, because I don't, for some reason, see, your partner telling you not to be in shape, or not to be in a physical good health. Because again, it has nothing to do with being thin, being broad. We are not talking about shapes and sizes here. But why would you not want to go the distance with your partner? So are you telling me that you don't want me to be in shape and just maybe die of a heart attack when we're just 40? Or are you telling me that you want to go the distance with me and just be with each other, holding hands and, taking a stroll down the beach when you're 90? So what is it that you're telling me here?
But you know there's it's true, but there's always going to be those that will sabotage that.
Hmm.
And we are going to have the doubters out there. There's
Hmm.
going to be someone who's saying, well, I lost all the weight and he didn't like it. So, and he left me because he said, no, I'm not the curvy, voluptuous person that he loved. But
Hmm.
in the meantime, I couldn't go up 3 flights of stairs, having to sit on one of the stairs for 5 minutes.
Hmm.
So how do you, when you're going to face that, or you haven't,
Hmm.
I'm sure somebody out there
But
has
there's a
seen it.
very thin line difference, me being just, being in their business or just minding my space. So I'm never telling them, I am always telling them, okay, this is where I draw the line. This is not my space
Good.
to tell
Okay.
you. Okay, because
Yeah.
I'm not their life coach at that. I'm not telling them what they should
No.
say and, pick up the phone and all those things. But
No,
I'm
no,
telling
no.
them, this is that what you want for yourself?
Okay.
I'm asking that person because I'm concerned with my client. So do you want to be this person again who wants to take those 3 flights of stairs and has to take a pit stop on every floor? Do you want to be that person? Yes or no? And here's my answer. So, and that's when I know that they know what I'm trying to say. So maybe that person is right for them or maybe not. But I'm not going to make that decision
No,
for
you're
them.
not making. No, I do. I know that.
Hmm.
I don't expect you to, and I know you wouldn't. So, how do you introduce nutrition? Because that affects. Whereas one of the significant partner loves takeout, and you're telling this person you have to watch your intake. What happens here? How you get them to understand how they have to feed themselves or eat or manage their habits?
So again, it's a very interesting discussion when I have that nutrition part. Oh, I have to cook for everyone. I have to keep it different. So again, I'm saying that, you told me that your partner plays golf, and then he goes, swimming and, all of those things. So his metabolism is probably very high, whereas you have a desk job and your metabolism is slow. So you cannot expect to be eating the same food and having the same results. So, and at the end of the day, we are what we eat. We are a product of what we eat. So whatever you're feeding to your body, you become that same person. So I tell them, yes, it's a good idea to share, meal together, but then your person's dietary needs, your partner's, metabolism versus you be completely different. So you cannot, it's not a fair expectation to be eating the same amount of food and look the same way because there are so many variables at stake.
So you're constantly, from what I gather, since we started the conversation,
Hmm.
you're constantly working with your clients to realize that what they're doing, they have to balance it slightly because it affects them in so many ways. Like there's different various type of relationships. Sometimes
Hmm.
even like in a family, they could be the one person that everybody expects to be. They had a commercial years ago and they would say, give it to Mikey. That means this man would eat everything. So
Hmm.
there is always that person in the family that will pick up the slack. And all of a sudden they no longer. And they
Hmm.
have come to that thing. That the joy at that moment, it lasts for them for a long time. And they continue. Have you had other members of the family come and say, I want this too?
Yeah, they do. Like, because so many times it happens especially when I'm training online, people are at home, their husbands walk in, their wives walk in, and they're, just say hi or this, that, and they're like, oh, that's interesting. And that's how I even, in fact, gain clients because the husband is like, okay, so she's doing something. Okay, now I also want to work on my physical health. So, why don't I, have a separate conversation with you and let's try to work on my, health. And then again, their body type, their medical history, their exercise history will be completely different. And then I try to merge the two together. So, okay, so I'm asking, let's say my client, that who's in charge of groceries, who's in charge of cooking, and then saying, okay, this and that. So I was like, okay, here's the plan. We'll cook in bulk, but the portion sizes can be different. Certain food items, can be, included or excluded basis, what I'm dealing with. But I try to make it in a way that it fits into their lifestyles.
That is great too. That is amazing. And guys, those of you, if you are not following Tehran, get on the bandwagon,
Thank
follow
you.
him, because he is a physical coach extraordinaire. He really takes time with his clients. And all of the people that I know so far that have been with him have always had such good things to say, not only their results, but they come back and they talk about it. And one of the things somebody said to me, this Tehran, he's no joke. He knows his stuff. And he demands
I'm
that.
so blessed. I'm so blessed.
and the person said, and if you're going to pay me to do this, you have to expect me to be a little bit tougher on you. That's my job. Your results is my results. And I like that. There was one other person, nothing to do with this. And when I asked, she's made a comment in talking to me through an interview. I don't know if I was being interviewed by her. I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, oh, well, we are hiring. And I know she wasn't talking about herself. She was talking about the company she represents as a HR person for them, mm-hmm. because she has an HR company. And she hires for small companies, so they don't have to have an in-house HR. Mm-hmm. And she talked about we. And you just did that. You talk about we are in this together. Your journey, you said, have been my journey. And that to me is one of the qualities of a great coach, mm-hmm. of a great trainer, is mm-hmm. that is like my nephew Jermaine and this man from Lebanon.
And they posted today, he was walking on the treadmill. I was so happy to see that. I felt that I was a part of that team because,
oh my God,
because, you share that same emotion, you share that same passion, even though Jermaine is in, all the way in the UK, and they're training there, but we've been on the live, they've shared their, their journey, their experience. I felt so happy. I genuinely felt so happy that I was a part of that team.
I haven't seen it. So yeah, so that's what I mean, because Jermaine said, my goal is to make sure he walks again. Mm-hmm. And he puts, and the nice thing about Jermaine is that he's actually not even charging this man to train mm-hmm. him. And he's with him all the time. And for him so he was on the treadmill today and he was walking, moving his leg on the treadmill. That must have been marvelous. I understand it.
You have to go back and see. Oh, that it was probably the best thing that I saw on the internet today, like, hands down.
Oh my!
But like the point that you're making is that you have to be passionate. I chose this career, out of sheer passion. So whenever I have a client and they tell me a goal, I'm always thinking that this is my goal, because if I'm not passionate, it will reflect on my work. It will reflect in my training, and I cannot be this. This person who just shows up in like, oh, let's do just 10 push-ups. Okay, do 10 squats. Okay, there's stretching and go. And I'm like, I have to bring that energy, because I'm like, I have to lose these 10 pounds in, X amount of time, or I have to gain this muscle in this amount of time because I have to go on a date. So I'm thinking that I'm in those shoes.
Yeah, and because,
you are the cheerleader. Enjoy that.
Yeah, you are the cheerleader. And the cheerleader is what stimulates the team, right? So yeah, I can relate to that, because when I come to do my morning lessons, I am pumped, I'm fired up, and I'm ready to go. And when I do the live, that's why I took this thing of coaching, of talking about the 5 pillars of prosperity, and use, like last week, we had it with desires, and now we have relationships, and we have every week is a different thing, the 5 pillars and prosperity and your relationship. So when it was physical, I said, who else can I bring? Let me bring somebody that understands how these pillars work and understand what he does, and it was marvelous tonight. You even talked about the mental pillar. Because
everything is connected at the end of the day.
It is connected.
You come work out, and I've said this to my clients, you come work out, you're in a, better physical space, better mental space, who knows, you might just have $1 million idea, and then here you go, you're going to go make millions off of that. So the financial part is also included. So everything is connected.
Yes, a clear head, right? So
Yes.
I understand you so well. Turan. So guys, please watch Turan. He has a fantastic IG live and page and all the things that he does, and you'll see him. And he's always giving tips, so you can always catch him. And everybody wants him on their life because physical prosperity is such a big part of our life. As we've discussed tonight, 3 steps, 3 flights of stairs, and these people want to tell me, Tessa-Marie, I can only go for 3 flights and 2 flights, and I need to sit for 5 minutes. Or my friends who call me and tell me about their knee, and one lady said she had a bad knee, and you know me with words, so I told her what did her knee do. Another one said my bad leg, and it's physical. And that affects I know these women, it affects their relationship. There is one woman in particular, her husband is walking 3 or 4 paces ahead of her because he's not able to keep up with that slow pace. Another one, she hardly ever goes up and down the stairs, yet she lives in a 2-story house. So the husband has to be constantly bringing her something in the bedroom to eat because her knee is out of whack. So physical prosperity and relationship, and sometimes they're tired, they lose their temper. So it does affect our relationship. And that's why it's important for people to realize, if you know what is happening in your life is affecting your physical prosperity is affecting your relationship, seek some help. Get in touch with Tehran and get some training tips. Some people, you prepare packages for people, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to help just whatever way the help is required, if it's in person or just, giving you a training plan, anything. Let's have a discussion first, and then let's see how can I help. But
Okay.
there are no excuses. That's the gist of it.
So
Even if you're
tonight,
sitting in some part of the world,
it doesn't
we can
matter.
train. Yes.
Okay, because the internet makes it available for Tehran to train in all sorts of time zones. When he told me of all over the world where he trains in there, all over, I went, okay, is there one time zone left? No, I've covered them all. So tonight, Tehran, before we leave, we'll be leaving soon. What is the one thing somebody can begin doing today who knows that their physical prosperity is affecting their relationship, whether a significant other, a family, or even with a pet? They have a dog and they cannot take the dog for a walk. What is it that they can do? A simple action to take action now towards a better physical prosperity, because it's hindering their relationships.
My one tip is always, that is irrespective of anything, get moving. And if even that it seems like a challenge, then talk to somebody who can get you to moving. That's it. Seek help.
Seek help and move. Keep on moving.
Keep on moving. Movement is medicine.
You said that you said once the biggest muscle we have is our leg muscle, right?
Leg is the biggest muscle group, yeah.
So a small amount of walking can incrementally increase it, can help.
Take the number 11 bus.
You remember that, eh?
Yes, of course I do.
No, that is something, it's so fun. That is so much of a British training, because in Dominica, they will say, how are you getting there? Oh, I'm taking number 11. And number 11 is your 2 legs, right?
Yeah. So it all starts with movement. Get moving, take a walk with your pet, see how you feel. Then, next step, then we can incorporate some resistance training, all those things. But if you're just like a sedentary person, start moving. Move your body around. The human body was meant to move.
Yes, and I am so happy to have had you and all of you guys who came tonight to visit with us, and Tehran.
And all our lovely friends are here. I was seeing the comments. Thank you so much, guys.
Belinda, Aman, Tehran. And all of the Belinda is this coach extraordinary. Yes, she said. Yes, I
Belinda
love
is
it.
awesome. I mean, say
He's
that. I've said
kind.
this so many times.
See what she said. He's kind, smart, and passionate about exercise and nutrition. He
Oh.
doesn't sleep. Who said he does? Belinda said you don't sleep.
Because she knows
You,
sometimes it's, I
you,
finish my day late and, start
you,
early
you are
morning and I.
giving a man a run for his money. Chicks are joy. Hi, Rosie Rose. And Aman is there. And Christina, Vanessa came on. That's really nice to see you guys. And Christina got to go meet with trainer. Thanks. So she's going to get her
Oh,
trainer.
she got
Yoko,
her inspiration. Go, Christina.
go, Christina, go. Yoko join us. Yoko picks her husband up at work, so she's always a little late. Interesting question, Tessa. I like that you like great advice. So question and the advice was great. So glad I made this live. Thank you. Very
Thank you so
informative,
much.
amazing life. Thank you guys. Thank you. Go get moving. Love it. Yoko likes that. Movement. Preaching my journey said wave and joined us. You know,
Thank
it's
you
really
so much, guys.
it's so amazing, guys, for coming tonight. I personally appreciate each and every one of you. And today I was listening to somebody on YouTube because somebody told me you should listen to that.
Mhm.
And one of the things he said on YouTube was that he said, do not feel bad if when you are doing your life, you only have a one person. He said, then preach to that one person. And
Mhm.
as this young person said, their name is preaching. He said, preach to that one person. Let that one person get that message because that is the one person you know for sure that
Mhm.
needs the message because they took the time to press the button and to join you. So we really appreciate you. And Sharon, I cannot thank you enough. You're such a good supporter of the Tessa-Marie show, the Morning
It's
Blessing.
all, like I said, it's always a pleasure to
You
be,
come in.
talking to you one on one or just, watching you speak. It's always a pleasure.
But I try, the thing is that when I come to impact something. I always like to quote Nelson Mandela, who said, each one teach one.
Hmm.
So, and then my father said, knowledge is not just to keep. What you know, you must teach. So I grew up with that. So maybe sometimes I give more than I should, but I don't care. I love it because I know the point is that, like we say, life, your life and my journey through life and our journey through life is a perfume. It is
Hmm.
going to linger. Whether you want it to know whether it lingers or not, it's going to linger. So make sure that that perfume is the best the people coming behind you could ever inhale. So that's what we
Oh,
do.
that is so nicely put. I wish I made a note of that. That was so awesome what you just said.
No, it's important that we know that our journey is a journey and it leaves a fragrance.
Mhm.
It does. It has to. So what is your fragrance? Like today we talked at the Morning Blessing about a delivery. What are
Mhm.
you delivering today? And Carolina made me smile because she said they loaded their truck long ago. That's
Mhm.
why with rotten bananas and eggs and whatever. That's why they only delivering nasty things. It was
Now
so
it's gonna stink, of course.
yeah, of course, because they came with so that's why I said every morning upload amazing things so you can deliver nice, amazing fruit because a journey of life is a delivery. And if
Mhm.
you don't believe it, then you haven't quite looked at life properly. So I know your fragrance is going to live with a lot of people having better knees and joints and they look at the scale and they can actually stand and see the scale. And like Jermaine, if that man is on the treadmill with that type of injury, I don't even know what to say. Whether he's holding on to it, but on a treadmill, you cannot just stand there. You
Mhm.
have to go. You have to move your legs. So there is
Yes.
something happening. So thank you, Tehran, for this
Thank you so
wonderful,
much for
amazing
having me
evening.
on your show.
Anytime, you know that I always want to have you on my show. Whenever it's physical prosperity, I'm looking for you. So it was, I feel the gods were looking at us and the angels
Oh,
were
the
in
stars
place.
aligned. You
Yes,
normally know
because
that I'm training people at this hour for
I
some
know
reason. The,
you.
the spot was all yours to take tonight.
I mean, the whole hour. Come on, who could have it better than us? So thank you guys, and I hope each of you learned something tonight. We gave at the Tessa-Marie show a nugget, a rare black pearl, and of course, the pink Canadian diamond. Yes, your choice. So take care. Thanks, Turan, for
Thank you
coming.
so much. Have a wonderful night. And
You
thank you to
too.
everyone who joined the conversation.
Yes, thank you, everybody, and Belinda and Christina, Vanessa, and all of them, Aman, of course, and Rosie and Yuko, and all of you. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great evening, everyone. See you tomorrow morning.
See
Blessing,
ya.
8 a.m. Okay, bye.
Bye.